Joey Logano has reacted to NASCAR admitting that they got the final restart at Richmond Raceway wrong and that Denny Hamlin did indeed jump the restart, and that if they were racing around lap 10, lap 50, or lap 300, they actually would have called the restart back. However, since it was at the end of the race, they let it go. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. Before we get into Joey Logano's comment, let's actually get into what NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition Elton Sawyer had to say. This is what he said at the end of the race at Richmond Raceway that night on Sunday night. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, we reviewed. Yeah, we reviewed that. We looked at it. Obviously, the 11 was the control vehicle. It was awful close, but we deemed it to be a good restart.
So he claimed that they looked at it and they deemed it to be a good restart the night of the race, right after it ended on March 31st. However, in an interview this morning on Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90, he completely changed his tune. Let's take a listen.
It's a bang call, Mike, and as I had the opportunity to look, Sunday night as well as multiple times yesterday. First and foremost, the 11 is the control vehicle. They have earned the right to be in that position. They've won the battle off pit road. They put themselves in a position to be able to control the restart. And as I looked at it yesterday, again, multiple times, there's no doubt he rolled early. And, again, it's a bang call. It's at the end of the race. We're a live sporting event. We don't have the luxury of a timeout and go to the sideline and review it and make that call. If this happens at lap 10 or 50 or 300, the call could have been different. So I wouldn't, if I'm a competitor, I wouldn't be playing that game every week. Sometimes you get the call that goes in your favor.
So, and obviously you would say sometimes you don't. Joey Logano reacted to this, but you can tell, right, he's completely changed his tone, or his entire narrative, right? It was, we looked at it and it was a good restart. Now it's like, no, he actually did indeed jump early, and we just chose not to make that call because of when it was in the race. If it was earlier on in the race, lap 10, lap 50, lap 300, we would have probably made a different call, showing that NASCAR has wildly inconsistent policies or enforcement when it comes to their rules. Well, Joey Logano reacted to this, and this is what he told Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Let's take a listen.
But I tell you one thing, if I get black flag for doing that next week, I'm going to be pissed.
Should be.
Because why was it okay last week? Right? And I don't think this was even a question. The restart was not even under review until Truex said he jumped the start. Right? Like that was it. It wasn't even a thought in NASCAR's mind, I don't think. Because if there is something, they are very quick to say the restart's under review. They would say that while they're going down the backstretch, right after they took the green. That's typically how it goes. And this one, not a word was said until way past the end of the race when we're doing post-race interviews. And now it's a hot topic. Well, now, of course, now they can't make the call. They didn't even put it under review, right? Like, so, I don't know. There was one under review in the Xfinity race, right? When I was up in the Fox booth with Eric Almirola and I think who was on the outside of him there?
Was it the 81? Chandler Smith? I can't remember.
Maybe it was Chandler. I don't remember exactly who it was. But so his defense, Eric's defense to the roll and him trying to time the restart was to let him get all the way past him and then go, right? So go late in the box. That was Eric's defense to that. And what that looks like to everybody, it looks like Eric Almirola brake checked the field. No, he didn't. He maintained the caution car speed, or his speed he was entering the restart zone at. And because everyone thought they were going because they were timing it, it looks like he brake checks the field. And they put that under review. There was nothing to review there, in my opinion. And they did review it, and they realized nothing there, right? And they let it go. But, gosh, if that's under review, the last restart of the Cup race should be under review, in my opinion.
So that is what Joey Logano had to say. Obviously, he has an interesting opinion. He thinks that NASCAR just didn't even realize it until Martin Truex made that comment in the post-race interview accusing Denny Hamlin of jumping the start. Obviously, there is in-car footage that he says almost immediately that Hamlin jumped the start. At least that's what it looks like. It's unclear if that audio was played over top of the footage. But it looks like almost immediately that as soon as Hamlin goes, Truex is like, he jumped the start, and he's saying that in the in-car. And, NASCAR is monitoring all of these in-car raters. You would think that they would have probably someone listening to Martin Truex Jr., given the fact that he dominated most of the race and obviously came out of pit road in second. He got beat off pit road by his teammate, Denny Hamlin. You think you might have someone listening to the guy who's been leading the entire race and is in second and is going to race for the lead in like NASCAR overtime. But so I'm a little bit skeptical of Joey's claim that NASCAR had no idea that was happening until Truex made that accusation. I think that they clearly knew that. I mean, if you watch the Fox broadcast, they even showed it afterwards. Obviously, we didn't actually get to see the restart at the very beginning because Fox was panning through the actual field rather than showing the cars at the front when they're actually going. But after the race had concluded and Hamlin had won, they did show it, and it was very obvious that Truex was right, and Hamlin did indeed jump the restart. But I have to agree with Joey Logano. He is calling out the inconsistencies now that Elton Sawyer has created. He's now, like, Sawyer's like, oh, we're going to let this go, but if you do it next week, we might get you. Or who knows, maybe you'll be able to get away with it, but maybe that 2 weeks later, we might get you. I think that's absolutely a terrible way of trying to enforce your policies. And if they do indeed try to get someone on this restart at Martinsville or any race, I feel like into the future, I think that driver, whoever it is, has a very good complaint to appeal that, go through all that process, protest it, whatever they have to do, because NASCAR set a precedent right here by allowing Denny Hamlin to jump the restart and said it was a good start. And then they're saying it wasn't after they got a bunch of flack. People looked at it and it was very obvious just from all the angles that we had that he did indeed do it. I mean, you can look at the Fox booth from the front. You can look at the in-car camera of Martin Truex. I think the best one is Hamlin's in-car camera, because you can actually see him, you can hear him and see him accelerate past Martin Truex Jr. way before he gets to that white line that's on the track. You can see him go through the white line as he's accelerating. And then obviously there's an overhead shot as well. I mean, so there's multiple angles that show this. I don't know how they run their operations there, but I would feel like if you have a NASCAR overtime restart, like, you would have someone focused on the restart zone. Like, that would be someone that's like really looking at that. I mean, how many NASCAR officials do they have at these tracks every week? Someone should have been looking at. So I do disagree with Logano's idea that they just didn't know about it. I mean, there's so many of those. There's too many officials to not know about that until Truex made those comments. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. It's a possibility, I guess, but I think it's really, really far-fetched. Let me know what you guys made of what Joey Logano had to say in his reaction to Elton Sawyer. Let me know in the comments below.